What is the biggest risk in retirement? Outliving your savings. Fewer than 1 in 4, or just 17% of the Americans over 50 are confident that they'll be able to maintain a comfortable lifestyle in retirement, with over 50% fearing that they may run out of their savings.
Right here. It says right here in this account we have $401,000.
Jackpot!
You missed it.
Nope. That says you have a 401k account. If you liquidate that right now, you'll have, maybe $5,000.
So what happened to the other $396,000?
Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Social Security has been an important part of retirement planning for almost all Americans. But Social Security may not be around in future. Then most Americans hope to supplement their Social Security in retirement using their IRAs or 401ks. But remember, these retirement accounts are known as defined contribution accounts. Here your contribution to these accounts may be somewhat planned and defined, but there is no guarantee on how much money will be there in these retirement accounts when you actually retire. You, and not your employer, are on the hook for investing your money wisely and hopefully all the gains, but even for all the losses that it might incur. What if market was mostly down in the decade leading up to your retirement? Tough luck. You may have very less money for your retirement. 40-50 years ago, company used to offer guaranteed pension once an employee retired from lifetime of service to the company. That is no longer an option for most of us. So naturally, most worried that their savings may not last for their entire retired life. So naturally, there is curiosity and excitement about this news from Fidelity. Fidelity is among the nation's largest provider of 401k plans. They have announced that they are going to provide their participants to convert part of their 401ks or similar plans into an immediate annuity that can produce a steady paycheck for their entire retirement life. Yes, a predictable and guaranteed retirement income. Sounds like the holy grail. So what is guaranteed lifetime income? Think of it as a paycheck for life. So essentially, it's a retirement strategy that guarantees a fixed amount of payment every month once the plan participant in 401k reaches retirement age, say 65 years. These investment solutions are gaining in popularity because these are easier for employees to understand. A fixed amount that they'll get for their entire retirement years. So naturally, they feel much more comfortable and confident about this. A typical American worker has 3 major decisions to make when planning for retirement, particularly when using a vehicle like a 401k. The first one is just a decision to save, making a decision that I'm going to participate in a 401k. Many American workers don't. The second important decision is how to invest those savings. Once you have money in 401k, you may need to decide which investment options to choose. Now, employers have been typically very good in helping employees with these 2 options. First one is decision to save. Many employers are now enrolling their employees by default into the workplace 401k plans. But here's the third decision that a retiree needs to make. When and how to take distribution from that amount that has been accumulated in the 401k. It's a very important decision because if you take money out too slow, you may have to live a poor life while leaving money in the account and you die. If you withdraw too much, you may run out of money before you run out of life. But workers typically don't get any help from their employers in making this very important decision. They are left to decide on their own. But now employers are getting into the mix by giving this option of guaranteed income as part of the 401k mix. So these guaranteed income solutions hope to solve 2 major concerns that people have with their 401k. One is running out of money. It is estimated that an average American can potentially run out of their savings by almost 10 years. So in those 10 years, they're dependent on relatives or the government to take care of them. Guaranteed income products can address this by providing them a predictable guaranteed income for their life. Second problem with 401ks is about early withdrawals. Sometimes people can't prevent or can't stop themselves from taking these early withdrawals, even though they're discouraged by taxes and penalties that are levied if you try to withdraw money from 401k. But sometimes they're not enough. But in these guaranteed income plans, the moment you touch or decide to withdraw part of the money, you can see the impact that the guaranteed amount will be reduced for your entire life. That may be a deterrent that may prevent people from taking money out of their retirement accounts. Now let's get into a bit more of a detail on how these guaranteed income plan work within a 401k. See, when a worker is younger, maybe less than 50-year-old, their 401ks will look very similar to a standard 401k with most of the money put in, say, a target date fund, which is very typical of 401k accounts in the US. The way these target date funds work is in the beginning, when a worker is relatively younger, the allocation of the fund is mostly towards growth-oriented, maybe higher risk stocks. So they're looking for higher growth, taking more risk. As the worker ages, this mix is tilted towards bonds, so that even if growth is limited, downside is also protected. Now, with the introduction of guaranteed income in the 401ks, a new twist is introduced. The twist is that these funds begin investing in annuity contracts starting, say, age of 55. And slowly this allocation is increased. By the time the worker is 65, almost 30% of their 401k has been allocated to annuity contract. A worker will have typically between age 62 or 59.5 to 72 years. That's the range when typically workers retire. At any time, they can use this annuity allocation in their retirement account and actually buy a one-time retirement annuity from there. At any time that the worker decides to buy annuity within the 401k, they are guaranteed certain income for life. And they can see the illustration before actually buying the annuity. But they have money available in 401k. And even in this structure, the remaining typically about 70% of the money will behave like a traditional 401k, which will stay in stock and bonds, and worker can spend them like they do with a regular 401k. And if the employee opts not to use that 30% which has been allocated to annuity to actually buy annuity, that also gets converted into stock, and then the 401k just behaves like a traditional 401k. So should you consider these newer options for your own 401k? Is this right for you? Let me start off by telling you that I personally don't love annuities, particularly the standard ones that are typically sold to investors. But these new products can actually make sense for some people. These people are, one, looking for certainty. With this product, there is clear potential for more confidence in retirement because you have certainty around how much money you're going to make. That can help people retire with confidence. Second, this is applicable to those people who need constant motivation and reminder to save. As they can see their monthly payouts for life, they may be encouraged to save more into their 401ks and thus the annuities. Another major advantage is that this plan within 401k will typically give participants exposure to annuities at very low cost. Because one of the biggest disadvantage of traditional annuities is their high fees. But buying annuities within these 401ks may mean access to institutional pricing, because these will be offered through your employers, which have higher buying powers. Then those can make annuities actually competitive and attractive. Of course, the biggest advantage is less financial headache in old age. Consider this, a big portion of our population is not financially sound, not financially aware to manage their investments portfolio, even when they are young and supposedly sharp mentally. Now, after they are retired, say they are at 80 years of age, do you think an average person will have the mental faculties to manage their complex portfolio as is required in a traditional 401k? Likely not. Annuities, particularly offered within their 401ks, seem to offer people a reliable way to get back to the older pension environment, the good old days, where they can have a predictable pension in their hand for their entire life without having to worry about managing their investments properly or running the risk of running out of money. But is it right for everyone then? Of course not. What to watch out for? There are some key risks and inherent disadvantages in annuities, whether they are inside or outside 401k. Annuity contracts are typically very complex and difficult to understand. Annuity contracts may not also be portable very easily. Like when you move from one employer to another, the another employer may not have the same contract available within their retirement plans. So you may find yourself getting stuck in a job if you try to continue building your annuity within that job. 401k participants typically need to make an election that they are going for annuity much before actual retirement, maybe at the age of 60 or something. These decisions are typically irreversible. Annuity payouts typically end when the participant dies. It's an annuity. The advantage, it stays with you for your life, but the disadvantage is that it ends with your life. So there is typically nothing left for your years. It's almost like a reverse insurance policy. The annuity stops having any value once the annuitant or the policy holder dies. And of course, watch out for fees. Even though I said that within 401k it may have less fees, but annuities typically have higher fees than every other investment, so you need to watch out for those. The good news is that many large providers like BlackRock, TIA, etc. have already announced plans to start offering annuities as part of the 401ks that they manage. So it's likely to become much more commonplace, and you may find that option very soon available to you at your workplace. These are welcome changes because it just provides more options to employees as they plan their retirement. As we discussed, guaranteed incomes can be very lucrative for those employees who are looking for certainty and safety in their retirements. However, on the flip side, some of these options may be much more difficult to understand and may be simply more expensive than the other regular investment options available in your 401k. I recommend consulting your financial advisor because it's a big decision and often irreversible. Spend time understanding options, consult your financial advisor and then make the call that is right for you and your family. I would love to hear your thoughts. Does your 401k offer guaranteed benefits? Or if not, would you like your employer to start offering them? If you like this video, check out this other video about 401k. I would also appreciate you can give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.